Hi everybody and welcome to Dpad Experience presents Marvel Champions. Dpad Experience is a weekly video game podcast available on all podcast platforms. But today we're learning how to play Marvel Champions. If you're here, it's probably because you have a lot of questions. Maybe you just picked up the game, don't know what to do, find it a little overwhelming. Well, I'm going to do my best to help you get through your first game of Marvel Champions. I've been playing for over a year. I have over 300 games, and I really love this game. My number one key to you is if you make a mistake, it's fine. It's a single player game. I'm going to be showing you, or a multiplayer game. I call it single player because I only play solo. And not only do I play solo, I play true solo, meaning I only use one hero. Some people play two-handed decks, but that's not me. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best to explain everything, show you how to run through the game, maybe give you some tips later on. So the first thing we need to do is we need to decide what hero and villain we want to go against. I've opted for Spider-Man because I assumed, taking a random guess, that Spider-Man would be the one that the majority of people try to use out of the box. So I've also gone ahead and I have the deck that he has suggested to play with. So I have this ready here. Okay. And then we need to decide the villain we want to play with. I decided to play against Rhino because he is the first villain in the campaign box. All right. So the first thing we need to do is take a look at, well, we can do this part in any order. We need to set up our board. So we have Rhino, who we're going to play against. We need to see how many hit points he has. He's got 14 hit points. Okay. So we'll set the villain dial to 14. And that's ready to go. Okay. Then we need to take a look at what he's got just so we know. He's got, in his first form, he's got 1 scheme and 2 attack. In order to win against Rhino, or basically any villain, we need to defeat 2 of their forms. So if you want to play a normal game, you start with form 1, right? And then form 2. So basically you take his health all the way to 0 for form 1. When form 1 is over, form 2 comes out, and then you take this new health down to 0. Okay. Form 3 is for expert mode. We don't need to worry about that in a normal game, so we're not going to be using it now. But if you wanted to play an expert game, you would start with form 2, put form 1 to the side, don't use it at all, and then when form 2 is defeated, you go to form 3. That's for expert mode. So we're not going to do that today. We're only going to do normal mode. So that's form 1 and form 2. So we'll set those up. These are 3D printed. You don't have to go all crazy with these. This is just where I was at. So each villain comes with a scheme, a main scheme. That's what the villain is trying to accomplish in order to beat us. Okay. Here's Rhino's main scheme. Now, if we put it to side A, we can see exactly how we can create his deck. It says, so the main scheme, the break-in, contents, Rhino 1, phase 1, and phase 2, right? It says Rhino 2 and 3 instead for expert mode. We're just going to be doing phase 1 and 2 for normal mode. Here's what we need to create it. We need the Rhino deck, which are all the cards that Rhino comes with. You can see at the bottom it says Rhino. So these are all the cards that he comes with. We need the standard set, which I have right here. Standard. And we need the one recommended encounter set, which is Bomb Scare, right here. Now, this recommended set can be changed for any other modular set, but we're going to go with the recommended one just for this, okay? Then it says once this is all set up and created, we advance to stage 1B. So basically, we flip the card over, and this is what we're playing against, okay? The break-in. Rhino is trying to smash through the facility wall, steal a shipment of vibranium, and you must stop him. If this stage is completed, the player loses the game. These are the rules for this phase, okay? Now, you see this number up top here, this 7 with this little person marker? This means 7 threat per person. So if you're playing alone, if this scheme gets 7 threat on it, we lose the game and it's over, okay? If you're playing 2 players, that's 7 per player, so that's 7 plus 7 for 14. If you're playing with 3, 7 plus 7 plus 7, 21, up to 4. I only play true solo, so it's just 7 for us now. Now, these 2 numbers here, right, this 0 and this 1, this bottom one, this 0 in the box, That's how much threat the scheme starts the game with. In our case with Rhino, it's 0, okay? This +1, right, is a +1 acceleration per little person, right? So that's +1 per person. So what this one means is at the start of his turn, every turn, he will, if we're playing 1 player, he will get 1 threat on this scheme per player per turn. If it's 2 players, 2 threat per player per turn. 3 players, 3, and etc. And remember, if this gets to 7, we lose. So he starts with no threat. So this just starts there like that. Okay? So I have Rhino's deck all set up. So we can get those cards together here. Okay? Now let's take a look at Spider-Man. So Peter Parker, right? This is his alter ego side. It says REC is 3. This is recovery for 3. That means he, on his turn, can heal for 3 recovery per turn if he chooses to, if he's in alter ego form. Let's see, hit points here. He has 10, so let's set our hit point dial. I've already done so to 10. Hand size. It tells you how many, each hero is different. It tells you how many cards you're allowed to have at the beginning or at the end of the turn, how many you draw up to, or the beginning of the game, right? We always start in alter ego form. If you look real quick at Spider-Man's hand size, it is smaller. It's a 5. So when we're in the Peter Parker side, we have a 6 hand size. If we finish the turn and their Spider-Man hand size, we have to make sure that we only have 5 in our hand, okay? This box down here lets our alter ego or hero do an ability. So in Peter Parker's case, it's scientist, resource, generate 1 mental resource, limit per round. So he's going to give us 1 resource to pay for any one of our cards. That's great. It's really helpful. Let's flip over to take a look at what Spider-Man does. So Spider-Man, they always, for the most part, off the top of my head, I can't think of any hero that's had different hit points, but they always share the same hit points. But his hand size is smaller. So he has 1 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 defense. So meaning, if there was threat on the scheme, he could take 1 of it away for his basic power. If he wanted to attack the villain, he would do 2 damage for his basic power. If the villain or something is attacking us, we can defend it for 3. All right? And his deck is comprised of his pre-constructed leadership deck. So it has his 15 cards that it starts with. All right? And it has all the cards that were given to us and told in the book. I'm not going to go ahead and explain each one of these, but we will take a look at all of them. Oh, there's one more thing I forgot. His deck also comes with this obligation. This obligation card always goes into the villain encounter deck, okay? Now, the villain, the rule book states that when you set up the encounter deck, you're supposed to shuffle all the things and then like add this at the end. I just add this at the beginning. Whatever, it's not the biggest deal. I add that at the beginning to the villain encounter deck. And then we have this Spider-Man Nemesis set. We don't use this until we're told. There's one card in here that will reveal that. It's called Shadows of the Past. We hope to not get that card because that's a very tough card to deal with. All right. So I also have this out. This comes with the starter set, right, as a reference, and we'll be following this to take a look at what we need to do. Okay. So I'm going to keep it here to the side so we can take a look. And do we need to know? I have the tokens that were given to us to start counting some things. I think that's it. So that's how you set up the board to start the game. Alrighty? All right, so now that our board's set up, we're going to go ahead and shuffle our cards. All right, I like to give these a good shuffle, especially since I sort of had these in a little bit of order. It can be annoying because I might pull some cards that, you know, are next to each other, and sometimes it frustrates me. So I like to give these a good shuffle. So if you saw the how the video started and it looked a little different, it's because I shuffled them already once, because I like to get these nice and shuffled up. Same thing with the villain set. I shuffle these a little during the break, and I'm giving them another good shuffle right now. All right, I think we're ready to start. Now, we always start in alter ego form, okay? Which is, it says it right here, alter ego. We always start in alter ego form. Now, what else? We would normally put threat on the main scheme based on that bottom number, but since there is no threat there, nothing goes. Let's take a look at what we need to do. All right, so we're not here yet because we have to draw up. So we need to draw for 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so let's take a look at these cards before we make any. You see a lot of numbers and a lot of things going on here, and it's probably like, oh my God, this is so hard. It's actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it. These numbers up here, these are how much the cards cost to be used, okay? So this costs 2, this costs 2, this is 0, this is 4, this is 1, and this is 1. And where do you get the resources to pay for these? These are also the resources. So example, if I wanted to play this 2-cost card, I would use any 2 of these cards, put them in my discard pile so that I could play the card. Same thing with the higher number. This is a 4-cost card. I would find 4 cards that I have, pay for them to use the card. This 0-cost card doesn't cost anything, all right? I can just play that card by itself. So these down here, right, this little blue thing, this little red fist, this little yellow electricity, those are the resource generators. Basically, this is a physical resource, this is a mental resource, and this is an energy resource. And these start coming into play later where you might need a specific one of these to play a card. But for the most part, it doesn't matter. It just means that this card costs 1 physical resource, this is 1 mental resource, and this is 1 energy resource. Some cards have 2 of them, which means it would be worth 2. So I don't want to pull it right now, but the energy card shows two of these energy symbols, meaning that this will be a 2, that this is worth 2. So I could just use this one to pay for that. You know what? Let me find it real quick, and then I'll shuffle up. Where is it? Okay, this energy card right here, it's got 2 lightning bolts. That means this is worth 2. So if I had this in my hand, I could just use one of these to pay for this 2 cost because this is 2. Same thing with that 4-cost card, right? This is worth 2, and then I could play 2 other cards to add it up to 4. All right, so that's how that works. So I shuffled up here again just to be safe. So let's take a look at our Spider-Man exclusive cards. This 0-cost backflip. Defense, so this is only good when I'm being attacked. When I would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent all of that damage. It's a pretty good card. 1-cost event, Spider, this is also during a defense just because I know it. So this costs 1. When a treachery card that's from him would, from the encounter deck is revealed, cancel its when revealed effects. This is good for again, defending against Rhino. Webbed up, this is really expensive, but you know, it says hero form only. So I couldn't play this if I was in alter ego form. And when he would attack me, instead, I discard this card, and then after that, he gets stunned. So essentially, this stuns him for 2 turns, which is very good. All right, let's take a look at the Justice cards that we got. We have a Surveillance Team. Use 3 Snoop counters. So this comes into the game with 3 counters on it. I can exhaust this, remove 1 Snoop counter from it, and remove 1 threat from a scheme. So this is good for removing threat. Interrogation Room, max 1 per player, so only 1 of these can be out at a time. After you defeat a minion, exhaust Interrogation Room and remove 1 threat from a scheme, which is pretty okay. 4 Justice is a 2-cost, right? Remove 3 threat from a scheme, or 4 if I paid for this using an energy resource. So these are pretty decent as well. So the first thing that you can do is before you do anything, you can mulligan, as in discard any of these cards and draw back up to your hand. You can only do it once in the beginning of the game though. Like I couldn't keep mulliganing. So I will mulligan. I don't like these 2 cards. That's just a personal preference. So I'm going to mulligan these 2 and I'll just draw 2 more and then I'm done. I cannot do that again. I can only mulligan once. So Greater Responsibility is a 0-cost event. When any amount of threat will be placed on a scheme, I take that as damage instead. So basically it's taking threat away from the scheme or and putting enemy as damage. And first aid is a 1-cost event, heal 2 damage for any character. Self-explanatory, right? All right, so there's 2 ways we can lose the game. Way number 1 is if this threat raises to 7, we lose. Way number 2, if our hit points drop to 0. So he has 2 ways of beating us. The only way we can beat him is bringing his health to 0. All right, so let's take a look at our player reference card. So it says take turns in player order. I'm the only player, so it's just me. On my turn, I may play cards, trigger and request actions. Requesting actions is only for a multiplayer game. Use basic attack, thwart, and recovery powers. Change your form, limit once per round, end your turn. All right, so as it said, I'm allowed to flip from alter ego to hero mode, but once per round. That's it. I cannot. So if we're starting the game, if I flip to Spider-Man, I could not flip back to Peter Parker until the next turn. Right? So when I'm in Spider-Man form, I can exhaust my character, right? And then use one of these basic powers, even here. So if I were to heal, let's say if Peter Parker had damage on him. If I exhausted him to heal, I could still flip, but I'm still exhausted, and I could not use one of these basic powers. Similarly, if we started the round as Spider-Man, I could use a basic power and flip to alter ego if I hadn't flipped yet that turn, but I would be exhausted and could not use this recovery. Here's the thing to remember that most people forget. This box right here that tells you what your ability is, this one generates a resource, right? Remember? This is independent from exhaustion, meaning if I exhaust my character to heal 3, I can still use that. Similarly, Spider-Man Spider Sense says, when the villain initiates an attack against you, draw 1 card. So if I was exhausted, I could still trigger this. So that is independent. All right. After all players have finished their turns, each player simultaneously draws back up to their hand size. I could discard cards from my hand. So like, let's say if I finish playing my cards and I have 2 cards left in my hand, I could discard both of these and draw, and then for the next part, draw up to my hand size, which would be 5, getting all new cards. And at the end of the turn, I ready my player. All right. So that's what it could look like for starting the game. All right, so let's start. I got my deck right here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so what do I want to do? All right, let's take a look at our player phase just so we can see what we need to do. So on my turn, I can play cards, trigger and request actions, use my basic attack, thwart, or recovery points, or change your form, limit once per round, and then end your turn. So we start the game on our alter ego side, and I can only change forms once. Okay, so I need to decide if I want to stay here or flip, because that'll be it for the end of the round. I can't keep flipping multiple times. So let's see, can I play anything in my alter ego form? This I cannot, because this is a defense. This is so this says hero form only, so I can't play that here. Hero interrupt, can't play that here. Hero action, can't play that here. I could play this first aid, but I'm not missing any health. And this enhanced spider sense is a hero interrupt. So basically I can't do anything from my alter ego side, unfortunately. And I can't, so his ability on his alter ego side is generate a mental resource. I can't generate it now and save it and flip. It has to be used on his alter ego side. So unfortunately, can't use that. So we'll flip to our hero side. And now, let's see. I would so there's a couple, like this backflip is good at not taking damage, right? But this webbed up is really good because this is essentially a 2-card stun. It says force interrupt when attached. So you attach this to the enemy, okay? Max 1 per enemy. And when the enemy would attack, I discard this instead. And then I stun the enemy. So this stops 1 attack and then stuns him, which is essentially a 2-attack stun. So I'm going to try to get this out. All right. So since I'm not going to be taking technically any damage for the first 2 rounds, I don't need this backflip. There's no threat on the main scheme, so I don't need this thwart. I don't need this one either, and I have nothing to heal. So I'll discard these 4 cards to pay for them, right? Because they only have one of the resource counters here in this bottom corner. So these 4, I'll discard those, and I will play Webbed Up and attach it to Rhino. I can place it wherever I want. I'm just going to place it right on him for no reason. I can't use this card because this is a hero interrupt. It says when a treachery card is revealed, cancel its when revealed effects. So that's not going to happen right now. There's no threat on the main scheme, so there's no need to thwart with his basic power. So I'll just attack. So I will exhaust him using one of his basic powers, which is an attack, and I'll attack him for 2, bringing his health down to 12 to 12. And that's it. I'm done, okay? I have played a card. I've triggered and requested actions. I didn't need to. I used a basic attack, okay? I changed my form in the beginning, and now my turn is over. I can use these in any order, okay? These parts right here for the most part. Now, once I'm done, I discard any number of cards from their hand. I want to hold this. I could discard this if I wanted and then draw up to my maximum hand, but I don't want to. I'm going to hold on to this card, okay? Now I draw up to my hand size, and then I ready each of my exhausted cards. So I will draw up to my hand size. So my hand size is on my hero side is 5, okay? So I have the 1 in my hand, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so we got a Haymaker, deal 3 damage. That costs 2. We have an upgrade. This would stay on my hero. Okay, max 1 per player. I get +1 thwart, which is pretty nice. I have a 1 cost upgrade here. Attach this to a minion. There are no minions on the board, so this isn't that helpful right now. Swinging Web Kick is always helpful. It's a 3 cost event. It is a hero action. It's an attack. I deal 8 damage. Great card. So let's see if we can get any of these out and play in the next hand. All right, so now I ready my hero. Now it's the enemy's turn. So we can flip over and see what he's going to do. First thing, we place threat on the main scheme. That top number is how much threat goes on per turn. On the start of his turn, it's 1. So there is now 1 threat in the main scheme. Number 2, the villain and each engaged minion, no minions, activates once per player in player order. Okay, so he's going to activate against me, and I'm in hero form. When they activate against you in hero form, he attacks you, okay, with this bottom attack. If I were in alter ego form, he doesn't attack you. He activates with his scheme, okay? So since I'm in hero form, he's going to attack me. But he's got the Webbed Up on him, which means I discard this, and he doesn't attack, okay? So now I get an encounter. Number 3, deal each player an encounter card. I get an encounter card, which is the top of the encounter deck. I reveal it and resolve the encounter cards in player order. Then you pass the token. There's no token because we only play true solo here. All right, let's see what encounter card we got. This card kind of sucks. When any amount of damage would be dealt to Rhino, place it here instead. Then, if there is at least 5 damage, discard Armored Rhino suit. So this is essentially like a shield. So this is, I'll place it here. Oh, I forgot to give him his stun. He's stunned because of my Webbed Up, right? Discard, then stun the enemy. All right, but now he has this shield. So what I like to do, actually, is I'll put the 5 counter on it since I need to remove it, so I know what's going on. All right, so it's my turn now. And, oh, you know what I could have done? Let's see. Can I do this? Should I just show you? I was thinking about using this in... This is a treachery? Oh, no, this is an attachment. This wouldn't have worked. I was thinking about using this, but it says when a treachery is revealed. This isn't a treachery. It's an attachment. Oh, well. So let's see what we're going to do on this turn. So he's got a 5 shield on him. I would love to take that off. So let's see how we can do that. There are no minions in play, so I don't need to hold on to this. It would be nice to increase my thwart. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll increase my thwart. But I don't want to get rid of my swinging web kick. I would love to hold on to this enhanced spider sense. And playing this deal 3 damage would have been nice, but I think we're going to get rid of these two to pay for this heroic intuition, and I get +1 thwart. I like to put it under my character, so now I have 2 thwart instead of the 1. Rhino is a very swingy character, meaning you can lose really easy to him even with the most advanced deck because he has such a small level of threat to lose this game. So it's nice to have better thwart on here. So I'll just exhaust Spider-Man, attack him for 2 to take off 2 of these counters. And I want to hold on to these cards. I like these cards. So that's it. My turn is over. I'm going to draw up 2, 3, sorry, this is 4 and 5. These are all very nice cards. I'm going to put this to the side since we kind of know what's going on now. Avengers Mansion is really good. I can draw a card. It says exhaust Avengers Mansion and draw a card. Aunt May is one of his best cards. When I'm in alter ego form, I heal 4 damage. This web shooter is also really nice. I can put this into play, and it says exhaust web shooter and generate a wild resource. It comes into play with 3 counters on it, and anytime I use it, I remove a counter. So these are all really nice. It's gonna hurt to have to get rid of some of these on the next turn. All right, and then I ready up, and it's now the villain's turn. He gets 1 threat, as per our number there. He's going to attack me, but he can't because he's stunned. So this gets removed. All right. And now it's just my turn to draw an encounter card. And what do we got? We got a minion. It says, when revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I think I'm going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. So now the main scheme's at 3. Getting a little bit worried because I know how quickly that can build up. No, it's a minion. I still can use this in enhanced spider sense. All right, so what should we do here? I think we're going to, let's see. I'm going to use my Avengers Mansion, pay for that as a resource to bring in my web shooters. It comes into play with 3 web counters on it. All right, let's see. Just trying to get some space. All right, we'll add 3 web counters to this. And this says I can exhaust this, remove a web counter, and generate a wild resource, which I'll do right now. I'll exhaust this, remove 1, generate a wild resource to bring out Aunt May. She's just going to hang out there because I'm not going to switch into alter ego just yet. Or maybe I should have. Actually, let's take that back. Let's take that move back. I'm going to put Aunt May back in my hand just because I want to show you what alter ego forms stuff looks like. So it also could be a very bad move on my part, but we'll see. I'm going to exhaust Spider-Man. He's got 2 thwart. I'm going to remove 2 threat from the main scheme now because I've exhausted him and chose to place thwart ability. Okay. Now I'm going to flip over into alter ego form. And it says I'm going to use his ability here. Generate 1 mental resource, limit once per round. So even though he's exhausted, I can still use this. They're independent of each other. So I'm going to use this mental resource and not have spent my web fluid to bring in Aunt May. That technically saved me a resource I could have used, and it helped a little bit. But we're still in not the best shape. There's a lot going on the board that I don't like. Oh, he has 2 health. You could either add health to him or take them away. I like to take them away. It makes things just clearer for me. My turn is over. All right, so we will draw up to our hand size, which in alter ego form is 6 and not 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We got some really good cards here that I think are going to be extremely helpful in our next hand. All right, we'll take a look at those when we get to them. but we're not going to be, and I ready up, we're not going to be able to do much here in the sense of defending or anything. All right, so he gets 1 threat. He's going to scheme for 1. Now, he now will activate, and we're going to draw a boost card. You haven't seen that yet because he was stunned, but he's going to draw a boost card now. So I'm going to grab from the encounter deck, but it's not going to be an encounter card. It's going to be a boost. Watch. So he's scheming for 1. And each of these three-sided, I don't want to call them a star because there is a star symbol in that deck. This is a boost icon. This 3-pointed symbol is a boost icon. When you see the star, it does something completely different. I don't want to take a look there because I don't want to cheat. I'll show it to you when it comes up. But these count as 1. All right. So he's scheming for 1, 2, 3. So he's scheming for 3. So now the main scheme gets 3. That's at 5. Now I'm getting worried. Okay? Because now it's Hydro Bomber's turn. He's going to scheme for 1. Let's see, where are my tokens? My tokens are off to the side. So now the main scheme's at 6. And I'm extremely worried because 1 more and I lose. So let's take a look at what's going to happen here with the encounter card. All right, so when revealed in alter ego form, the villain gains Surge. This card gains Surge. Surge means you just draw another card. All right, you are confused. All right, so now I'm confused. Let's get a confused card. Confused means I can't thwart, which is really bad because I might lose this game in a second. So if I were to thwart, instead I have to discard that card. That's really bad. Really, really bad. All right, so now it's my turn. Everything is over. And we're going to see what we can do to try to make a comeback because we're in rough shape. We're in rough shape right now. All right, I think the first thing I want to do is use his ability to generate a resource to get a second web shooter into play. And since I'm lazy and I like to keep a clean deck, actually no, I'll put 2. I was going to double up, but don't worry about that. Don't mind me talking. All right, so now I have 2 web shooters that can generate a resource for me, right? Let's take a look at these 2. So here's a double resource card. This is worth 2. That's great. Let's take a look at Daredevil and Black Cat. So Daredevil costs 4. 2 thwart, 2 attack. He's got 3 health. Response, after Daredevil thwarts, you deal 1 damage to an enemy. Pretty good. Black Cat, 1 thwart, 1 attack. 2 health. She might not seem that strong, but she is, okay? For a couple reasons. Her force response says, after you play Black Cat, discard the top 2 cards of your deck and add each card with a printed mental resource to your hand. So that's pretty good. Maybe we can draw 2 more cards in our hand. But here's why she's so good. Notice this little star shape here. This is called consequential damage. If Daredevil were to thwart, he would take 1 consequential damage because there's 1 star here. Some cards have 2 stars or 3 stars. That means they'll take 2 damage or 3 damage respectively. So if he were to attack for 2, there's 1 star here. He takes 1 consequential damage. His health goes from 3 to 2. Black Cat, she has 1 consequential damage for her thwart, but there are no stars here. She takes no consequential damage for an attack. She can attack throughout the entire game and not take any damage. That's fantastic. I think there are only like 2 cards, maybe 3, including Black Cat, out of every single card that takes no consequential damage for an attack or a thwart. She's amazing, okay? But what we need to worry about right now is that main scheme. I'm very worried about that main scheme because 1 more and I lose, right? So we need to flip over into our hero form. And Spider-Man can't help because he's confused, which sucks. So what we're going to do is this. We are going to... I would love to get Daredevil into play. So let's try to do that. So we're going to this, so he costs 4. This is 2. So here's a 2 resource. I'm generating 2. I'm going to exhaust each one of my web shooters to get 2 more resources. So I'm at 4 now. 2, 3, 4. To bring Daredevil into play. We'll give him 3 health. All right. So what should we do? We're going to... So Spider-Man is confused, but it doesn't mean he can't attack. He can attack. We're going to exhaust Spider-Man to attack 2 damage to our Hydra Bomber, taking him off the field. Now we are going to thwart for 2 with Daredevil, so he'll take 1 damage because there's 1 star there. So 2 threat comes off the main scheme. And it says after he deals damage, deal 1 damage to enemy. So this goes from 3 to 2. Because remember, he still has that shield on him. I would love to get Black Cat in, but I refuse to give up Swing and Web Kick. It's too strong of a card. I don't want to give that up just yet. So I'm just going to hold on to these 3. I would normally say never to do that, but these are 3 really good cards. And I don't want to give them up just yet. All right, so let's draw. So these are 2 exhausted. We're going to draw up 2. So 4 and 5. All right. Now it is time to ready up and time for Rhino to go. So let's clean this up a little bit. So how many are here? Oh, there's 4. It has to stay like that. All right, so he's got 4 there. Now the main scheme is at 5. It's his turn to attack. He's going to attack me for 2. Remember, we're drawing a modifier here. Now I need to decide if I want to defend or what do I want to do. I drew a backflip, okay? And it says when you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent all of that damage. That's pretty good, but I want to bring Black Cat in. So the question is, how do I bring Black Cat? I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about for my next turn. I'm deciding if I want to play this or not. I could use these 2 to pay for Black Cat, but maybe that treachery is going to be strong. So I want to hold on to this one for 1 more round. I don't want to hold on to things forever. So what I'll do is, I've got Aunt May out, so that means I can turn to Alter Ego at some point and heal up. So I'm going to defend. So he's going to attack me for 2. Plus 2 modifier. He's attacking me for 4. My defense is 3. So 4 minus 3 is 1. I take 1 point of damage. All right, now we get our encounter card. This card sucks. So this is attached to Rhino. He gets +1 attack for the rest of the game, or I could spend 3 physical resources and discard this card. The physical resources are this fist right here. If I were to discard 3 cards that have that fist, I could discard this. But and for the remainder of the game, for the most part, he's going to have +1 attack, which kind of sucks. Now, I defended with Spider-Man. He cannot ready. He cannot ready. Cards can only ready at the end of my turn, not his. So I can't do anything with him on my turn now, which is fine. I'm not too worried about that. All right, what do we want to do? Let's see. I wanted to bring Black Cat into play. So let's do that. Well, the first thing let's do is let's thwart for 2 with Daredevil. Taking 2 counters off. Let's see, what else can we do? I would like to bring in Black Cat. Oh, sorry. Daredevil, since he thwarted, I deal 1 damage to an enemy. We'll take that off his shield. I'm going to exhaust my web shooters, generating 2 resources to bring in Black Cat. She's got 2 health. It says that after she enters play, discard the top 2 cards of my deck, and if it's a mental resource, I add it to my hand. Not a mental resource. Not a mental resource, so that's okay. She will attack for 1. I'll exhaust her. She'll attack for 1, not taking any consequential damage, though, because there's no star there. And we could finally remove this shield that he has. All right, let's see. Here's what we have in our hand right now. I think I'm going to finally use this swing and web kick. All right, so this swing and web kick costs 3. I'm going to use 1, 2, and 3 to pay for it. Even though Spider-Man is exhausted, that means I can't use his basic ability. That doesn't mean I can't use an event or a card in my hand, which I'm doing right now. So I'm going to use this and attack him for 8 damage. So he's going from 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 12 to 4. I'm done with my turn. He still has 3 threat on the main scheme, so I don't feel confident switching over to alter ego form just yet. All right, so we'll draw up to our hand, which is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, nothing here is going to help me with defense for the most part. Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot this. Oh, man. You know what? I don't want to cheat. It's fine. I always forget, no matter how many times I play, his Spider Sense interrupt that says when the villain initiates an attack against you, draw a card. I forgot to draw a card in my last hand. That would have really helped, but I'm not going to draw a card now. It's fine. That's kind of annoying. I'll try to remember it for now, though. All right, so I've drawn my cards. I can ready up all my cards here. Helicarrier is really good. It costs 3, but it reduces the cost of another card that I play by 1. Emergency is not that great. It doesn't cost anything, but it says when the villain schemes, reduce the amount of threat placed in the main scheme by 1. Jessica Jones, she's pretty good. She's a 3-cost ally. She gets 1 plus 1 threat for each side scheme in play, but unfortunately there's no side schemes, but she has 2 attack. Greater responsibility, we've seen that already. For Justice, we've seen that already. So these are okay cards. Okay. All right. So it is Rhino's turn to go. I could defend with Daredevil and remove him off the board, but he has a nice thwart, which I can't do right now. So I'm just going to defend again. I don't want to defend with Black Cat because she's an instant. She automatically deals damage for free, essentially. So I don't want to lose that. So I'll exhaust Spider-Man again to defend. Oh, we got to give the main scheme 1, so that's at 4. He's going to hit me for 2 plus 1, so this is a 3 attack plus nothing. Nothing there. So I take no damage. He attacked for 3. My defense is 3. I take no damage. Here comes our encounter card. Rhino attacks you. If a character is damaged by this attack, you're stunned. All right, so he's attacking me again. Oh, before that, he initiated an attack against me last time. I draw a card. Didn't want to forget that this time. All right, Power of Justice. So now he's going to attack me again. And if I'm damaged by it, I'm stunned. I don't want to be confused and stunned. That would really suck. So what I'll do is I'll defend with Daredevil. He has 1 health left. He's going to die, but it's okay. But I can show you something else. So he's attacking me for 3. Plus 1 is 4. Now, Daredevil only has 1 health left, but he eats all the damage. There's no flow over to me. Unless there's a card that says overkill, then you take excess damage, but he will take all the damage. So he's taking 4 damage, he loses 1 health, and he's gone. But I took no damage, so I'm still at 9 health, which is good. So this doesn't work because he initiated the attack against me, but I defended with Daredevil, so that doesn't count. It's fine. All right, where are we at now? So this Power of Justice, it says double the number of resources this card generates when paying for a Justice card. So Jessica Jones costs 3, but this is worth 2 if I'm paying for a Justice card, the yellow cards. For Justice, all right, this removes 3 threat from a scheme, or 4 if I use for paying a mental resource. I might try to do that, honestly. I think that would be a good move. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to attack for 1 with Black Cat because it doesn't hurt us to do so, right? He takes 1 damage. Even again, oh, shoot, that kind of sucks. If I were to use For Justice, I would give up, this Confuse would happen instead. Maybe I should just do that, unfortunately. Yeah, no, All right, let's see. What could I do? All right, here's what we're gonna do. I wanna bring out Helicarrier. Do I wanna bring out Helicarrier? Maybe not. Okay. Let's do it. Let's just go a little crazy. This is worth 2. We'll use the For Justice, which should remove threat, but it's not going to because I'm confused. So instead, I lose the Confuse. Kind of sucks, but you know, I want to be able to do stuff with him. All right, so I want to bring out this Helicarrier. This is a really good card. So what I'll do is I will, let's see. I'll exhaust this and this to generate 2 resources. These come off the board. Then I will discard my emergency. That's 3. Now I have Helicarrier out. All right. Unfortunately, I can't do anything else here because I don't have enough to pay for Jessica Jones, and Great Responsibility isn't going to do anything. So I'm going to be done with my turn. I'm going to hold on to these just to see maybe if I can bring Jessica Jones out in the next hand. So let's see. We'll see. All right. I'm going to draw up to 5. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And let's let him have his turn. Oh, I ready up. He gets 1 scheme, so he's at 5 again. So now he's going to attack. I think maybe I should take the attack this time, just so I can do some stuff on my next turn. I'm going to need to remove some threat off of that scheme. So, yeah, I'll take the attack. He's hitting me for 2. I'm not going to defend. 2 plus 2 is 4. Of course I don't. Plus the 1 is 5, so I lose 5 health. Of course I don't defend when it's a really strong attack. So my health is down to 4 now. Here comes his encounter card. Give Rhino a tough status card. That's annoying. Let's see. I have a card here, the Spider Sense, that removes a treachery. And that is a treachery. I could do that. I think I will do that, just so he doesn't have a tough status. I'll exhaust my surveillance team. Yeah. I'll exhaust my surveillance team. I'm thinking this through. I'm sorry. Maybe if I can bring the surveillance team out, I can remove threat, right, which would help. I'm thinking if I could bring out Jessica Jones in my next turn, which could help as well. I'll just give him the tough status card so you can see how that works. All right, so now Rhino has a tough status card. So basically, this is the opposite of stun. If I were to attack him, he takes no damage, and I remove the tough instead. All right, it's my turn now. So let's bring out the surveillance team. It enters play with 3 counters. Okay, when they're gone, this card is discarded, and basically what I do is I exhaust this card, remove 1 counter from it, and remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Which is the first thing we'll do. We'll exhaust this, remove a counter, remove a threat from the main scheme. All right. Next thing we will do is we'll attack for 1 with Black Cat to remove the tough, which isn't that bad. Okay. Then I want to bring in Jessica Jones, so I'll exhaust Helicarrier. Let's take a look at Helicarrier again. Exhaust Helicarrier, choose a player. I'm the only player. Reduces the cost of the next card I play by 1. Okay. Jessica Jones now is a 2-cost card. I'll spend these 2 to bring her out. We'll give her 3 health. She's got 3 health now. I will... Remember, don't forget we played this here. Spider-Man has a +1 thwart, so he's at 2. Exhaust Spider-Man. Remove 2 threat from the main scheme. I will exhaust Jessica Jones to deal 2 damage. She loses 1 health. He's now down to 1 health. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip into Alter Ego because I'm only at 4 health. I'm flipping to Alter Ego. Now let's use Aunt May. Alter Ego action. Exhaust Aunt May, heal 4 damage. Exhaust Aunt May, heal 4 damage. All right. And now that I'm in Peter Parker form, I can draw 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. So now that I've drawn my cards, let's take a look at what we got. We know what the webbed up is. We know what the Power of Justice is. We've seen the Spider Tracker. Let's take a look at Nick Fury. Fantastic card. He costs 4. He's 2 thwart, 2 attack, 1 consequential damage on each, 3 health, right? Force response. After Nick Fury enters play, choose 1. Either remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. Any one of those choices are fantastic, right? At the end of the round, if he's still in play, you discard him. Now that might seem crappy, but that means he's just going to defend for you. He'll defend for you, you'll take no damage, and he's done a tremendous job. And we got another swing and web kick. We're doing pretty good with these cards right here. All right, so we'll ready up. He gets 1 threat in the main scheme. He's now going to scheme for 1 plus 1, which is 2. Our main scheme is now at 5. Here comes our encounter card. Rhino heals for 4. That's annoying. All right, so Rhino's healing for 4, so he was at 1 before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, he's at 5. So let's see what we're gonna do. The first thing that we're gonna do is exhaust Aunt May to heal the full. You can't overheal, right? So even though she heals me for 4, my maximum health is 10. I can't go higher than that. The next thing we'll do, there's no minion out, so that's useless for us. Webbed up might be good to play. Power of Justice, I don't have a Justice card to play. There is no minion out here, so we're looking at Nick Fury, swing, web kick. We're looking at a couple things. Let's see if maybe we can get this Nick Fury into play somehow. Yeah, that's a good move. All right, so what we'll do, so you can only have 3 allies in play at once. No more than 3. 3 allies. I have 1 ally, I have 2 ally. I'm looking to bring in Nick Fury in now, that'll be 3. If I had another one, I couldn't add them, okay? There are cards that let you have more than the maximum of 3, but we're not playing that deck right now. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to generate 1 resource here with him. We're gonna exhaust Helicarrier, reducing the cost by a card by 1. So Nick Fury goes from a 4 to a 3. We have the 1 here. I need 2 to pay for him. We'll use these 2. We'll bring in Nick Fury. Okay. He'll get 4 health. I'm deciding if I want to draw cards or deal damage to Rhino. We're going to deal damage to Rhino. That's what we're going to do. So he'll take 4 damage. I'm going to exhaust Nick Fury. That does not... No, sorry. That doesn't exhaust him. That's just a response. I haven't used one of his basic abilities yet. So he takes 4 damage. He's back down to 1. Okay. I'm going to attack with Black Cat, bringing his health to 0. We're done with phase 1 of Rhino. Here comes phase 2. Now, phase 2 has a when revealed. I know what it was. I knew what this was, so I planned for it. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for the break-in and take-in side scheme and reveal it, then shuffle the encounter deck. I knew that was coming, right? Because I've played so many times. I know it's in here. I've seen it already. Here it is. Break-in and take-in. So here's a side scheme. So now we have, and it said to shuffle our encounter deck. So we're going to shuffle it. Now we've got a side scheme in play apart from the main scheme. And this one is particularly tough because this symbol right here says you get an extra encounter card. Okay? Basically, when that encounter phase, instead of getting 1, we get 2 because of this. And this says place 1 additional threat, and that little face there is per player. So there's only 1 player, so it's 1 threat per player. So instead of 2, it's 3 because of that. But I knew that was coming, so I planned for it. You know, you want that. You don't want him to use that card, and you want it to go away right away. Okay? You want it to go away right away, and that's what's going to happen now. So we're going to flip to hero form, and what we're going to do is this. We can't play, that's a minion. We can't play any of these cards, unfortunately. Okay? But that doesn't mean we can't do other things. It says Jessica Jones gets +1 thwart for each side scheme in play. There's a side scheme in play here. All right. Oh, we got to set Rhino's new health. He's at 15 now. He was at 14 the first game for phase 1. For phase 2, though, he's at 15. So we got to get this off right away. And here's what we'll do to do that. We will thwart with Jessica Jones, removing 1 of her health. Okay. We'll take 2 off of this. Then we will thwart with Nick Fury. He loses 1. Oh, sorry, he had 3 health, not 4. But he lost 1. We'll take this out of the game. Now we don't have to worry about that. And then, because this has a lot, we're going to thwart for 2 with Peter Parker. Spider-Man. Same person, right? Helping us out there. So, we've dealt with the side scheme. We've controlled the main scheme a little bit. He's at full health, which we always have to worry about. Oh, look at that. Surveillance team. Exhaust you, remove a counter, remove 1 threat. I feel good about that turn. Now, it's still the round. And it said, after this round is done, you discard Nick Fury, right? The round isn't over. The round is over at the end of his turn. So, we are going to discard this. I don't want this one. No, I don't know. Should I keep it? No, let's discard it. All right, so I draw up to 5. Draw up my hand, which is 5, right? So we're at 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh, I ran out of cards. When you run out of cards in your deck, you get dealt an additional encounter card. So that's gonna suck, but we'll deal with it. All right, so we shuffle our deck now. Yeah, when your deck runs out, you gain an encounter card. When his deck runs out, he gains an acceleration token. An acceleration token makes the main scheme go quicker, which sucks. All right, so I need 1 more card. We got Interrogation Room. We got here, look at this card. Never play this card, ever. This is a 2-cost upgrade, right? And you need to spend a physical resource. So you're paying 3 just to ready your character. Terrible card. Never use this card. All right, so I think we're done. We're going to ready up. Rhino's going to get 1 threat in the main scheme. I will defend with Nick Fury because he's going to go away at the end of this round anyway. Okay? He's going to go away at the end of this round anyway. So you want to defend with him. All right, so here we go. 3 attack. Plus nothing. This is a 3 attack. Nick Fury's gone. Regardless, it doesn't matter. He was going to go away anyway. Now we have 2 encounter cards that we got to deal with. Let's see what they are. Here's the first one. Rhino heals for 4 damage. If no damage is healed, this card gains Surge, which means we draw another one. All right, we got Sandman in play. Toughness. He enters play with a tough status card. So we got 1 minion. All right. We got another minion. Choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I'm going to take 2 I want to take 2 damage. Because this has got 3 on it already. And again, as I said, Rhino can be very swingy. Sandman enters with a tough status. He has 4 health. Hydra minion has 2 health. All right, so now we have Rhino and 2 minions out. Yay. So what are we going to do to get rid of them? Not a lot, unfortunately. Okay, well, the first thing we should do is attack with Black Cat to get rid of the tough status. We will... All right, so Sandman has a 3 attack, which is definitely better than the 1 attack on the Hydra Bomber. So we will attack for 2 with Spider-Man, attack for 2 with Jessica Jones. She's out of the game, but so is Sandman. Now we only have the 1 minion to worry about. Okay. Let's see. Let us exhaust our surveillance team to remove a threat. This is discarded now. Let us, let's see. We're going to use our helicarrier to reduce the cost of our swing and web kick to 2. We'll use these 2 cards to pay for it. We'll deal him 8 damage. I'm attacking Rhino, not the minion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. And I'm not going to do anything else. I think I'm going to discard Webbed Up. I'm going to discard Webbed Up. All right. My turn is over. I'm going to draw up to my hand size. So it's 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to ready my cards. And on to the next turn. He's going to gain 1 threat in the main scheme. Rhino will attack me now. I have 8 health. He's going to attack for 4. I will defend. All right, so he's attacking me for a base of 4. 3 plus 1, because we haven't got rid of this yet. But I'm defending for 3, right? So it's really just a 1 attack plus 1. I take 2 damage. I don't want to forget to draw my card, because when the villain initiates an attack against you, I draw a card. I got Avenger's Manor. Now the Hydra Bomber is going to attack against me. I've already defended, so this isn't a defense against the Hydra Bomber. I just take the 1 damage. Okay, now we're going to get our encounter card. All right, this sucks. This is our obligation. You may either flip to Alter Ego if I wanted to, right? And then exhaust Peter Parker and then remove this from the game. Or discard 1 card at random from my hand and then this card gains Surge. That's not going to happen. So I'm just going to choose to flip to Peter Parker. He's exhausted anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right. So now it's my turn. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to exhaust Aunt May to heal for 4. All right. We are going... So that was during his... So it's my turn now, which means I still can flip. So I had to turn here and exhaust. That doesn't mean I can't flip now. And I will. I'll flip to hero form. I'm going to attack Rhino for 1. Bring his health down to 6. I'm going to use my helicarrier to reduce the cost of swing and web kick to 2. Use these 2 cards to play swing and web kick to deal 8 damage, bringing his health down to -2. And we won. All right. I didn't need to necessarily kill the Hydra Bomber. He was just there, right? I did this again. Remember, his basic attack is independent of those events. So you can play that. Even though he's exhausted, you can play events, right? So we beat Rhino. We beat him. You know, that was, so what we had to do was manage the threat. We had to manage the villain. We managed a couple minions. And that turned out really well. Now, here's a tip that I have for everybody, if you're interested. So I have all these cards here, right? The tough, the confuse, the stunned, and there's just a lot of these, right? Like, look at all these tokens. Let me clean up my board a little bit real quick just so I can show you. So we're gonna move everything away, right? We're going to get this out of here. Put these to the side. The game does, I mean, it gives you a lot of cool stuff, right? Like here are acceleration tokens. Here are generic counters. Here are some of our threat tokens. Here are the damage tokens, right? And I've got them in all these baggies, right? And it's just a lot. I dropped one, so I gotta find it. I don't know where it is. I'll find it later. All right. Am I stepping on it? I'm stepping on it. All right. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, you know, with these, the stuns, all these to deal with. I'll show you my solution for this because I never use these. I actually only brought these out to show how to play with them since, you know, you probably just unpack the game and this is what you have. And I used these for a very long time until I didn't. And I'll show you the solution that I have that I think just makes things so much cleaner, so much easier. And what I use are dice, okay? These greens I use for counters, as in health, okay? So let's grab one of our allies. Let's see, let's grab, I want somebody with like, I don't want Black Cat. Here you go, who's this, Jessica Jones? Yeah. All right. So if Jessica Jones were to come, get this out of here, these threats. All right, if Jessica Jones were to come into play, I would take my green dice, I'd put it on 3, and place it on her. I'm not fiddling around with all those other things. When she takes a damage, I move it to 2, right? That easy. This is the same, I use the same thing for those web shooters that I had. Like when something had a generic counter on it. Where are those web shooters? Like the web shooter, or that surveillance team with the counters, right? It says web shooter enters play with 3 counters. I'll take my green counter, because I've chosen green as the color. You can choose whatever color you want. 3. This comes into play with 3, right? I exhaust it to use it. Goes to 2. Exhaust it to use it. Goes to 2. I don't have to deal with all those things, okay? So this is what I use for health and counters. I use the black dice for threat. Again, you can use any color you want, but I use the black dice. So when 1 threat goes on here, I change it to 1. Oh, he gained a threat. 2. He gained 2 threat. Goes from 2 to 4. Not all those things there, okay? Those stun and confuse cards, I just use these dice. I use a yellow for stun. I use a purple for confuse. I use an orange for tough. And the numbers, for the most part, don't mean anything. It's just the color. Oh, he's stunned. Throw that there. Oh, I'm confused. Throw the color there. Right? I don't have to be shuffling around other little cards to deal with that. And you haven't seen an acceleration token yet, but I use this as an acceleration token. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Oh, the main scheme has 1 acceleration. There. This makes my game so much cleaner and so much nicer. But again, that's a personal preference. You don't have to do that. Just something I'm throwing out there for you. But I hope you enjoyed that playthrough. You know, I tried to be as detailed as possible. If you have any questions or confusing about anything, shoot something in the comments. All right? I love this game. I love talking about it. And I would love to help you out if you need some help. Thanks, everyone, for watching.